Hello. At least the stream should be running. I'm gonna refresh this just in case, you never know. Okay. Yeah, everything seems good. Hey CJ, how you doing? Just at the... I think... Yeah, I'm gonna be working on the cactus farm today. Just so I can get a consistent... I'm not dead yet? Awesome. Oh, that's right. You probably have natural regeneration on, so it's... I every single time I associate... Or I think about hardcore now, it's just like... I think of like just feeling like glass. Because, you know, in this series I don't naturally regenerate, but that's not how it is for most people playing hardcore. Here's a bowl. Boop. Ooh. Okay, I still have some mushrooms in here. But yeah, I definitely need to work on my supply of healing items, because it's starting to get a little complicated. I hit hardcore and start. Yeah, and honestly, for you, that's probably what I would recommend. Just so, you know, it seems appropriate for most people, you know. But I have been playing the game for over a decade now, so I think it's appropriate. Okay, I think I'll get another 2 of these, and we shall get going with this. So I think the first thing I should probably... Okay, so I don't have a lot in terms of fences. I don't have a lot of water buckets either, but I can make do with that. But the fences is probably going to be an issue. So what I'm going to do... how many saplings do I have? None, weirdly enough. So I guess I need to... I don't need water breathing right now. Yeah, I think the first thing we need to do is get a whole bunch of... Oh, I need you. Get a whole bunch of saplings and try and get some wood going, because I did not realize how little I've got. I'm gonna try and go for oak, because oak's the easiest to use in anything. Ooh, am I good on food? Not really, but I'll try and make do. And I can't see the sun right now. That's not good. I don't know what time it's gonna get dark. But this past week, or actually this past weekend, I did watch the Minecraft movie, and I'm gonna turn down sounds just a bit. And it was interesting. Flint and steel. Yeah, I would honestly say, if you don't have a group of friends, it's definitely not worth it. Because you just, especially if you're like an active Minecraft fan, because you're just going to be banging your head against a wall the entire time. If you have some friends, at least then you'll be able to kind of point and laugh at it. But I ended up hearing that it was insanely successful at the box office. And I guess it just kind of goes to prove that you can market a movie purely based on memes. And I think it's unfortunate that, Minecraft of all things ended up falling into that category, because, Minecraft's my favorite game. I don't think that's really a secret. And at some points, it's hard for me to even put Minecraft into like the category of games, because I like it that much. It's just not even a competition. and B, because I treat it more like a sandbox than like a full video game. Really over Speed Racer? I like Speed Racer. I like the movie, and that's about it. I like the anime as well, but that's mostly because of nostalgia. My dad, you know, showed me the anime when I was like a small kid, and you know, we ended up watching the Speed Racer movie together, and I loved it. It was awesome. But you know, the anime is definitely one of those things where you kind of point and laugh at it too, because it was one of the first anime to really receive a proper do I have any bones I can sacrifice right now? Not really. Okay, looks like we're gonna be going out at night. This won't go horribly wrong whatsoever. Actually, you know what? What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna scout for some caves that I can find later and mine, because as much as I like the idea of just like surface cave mining, that's one of the rules basically. Either, you know, happenstance upon it while I'm doing something underground, or find a surface cave. Sometimes finding a cave that way can be a little difficult. Bones, Bone Block Mafia. I have to go to the shop. Do you mean like your work? Oh, wolves, right. Oh, right. I should probably update all my this instance to the newest bit. The fact that like the newest update is still in 1.21 is throwing me off a bit, because there's a significant amount of updates that have come since this, but okay, make sure I have this in my inventory, or my hotbar rather. Last Stand collectibles. Huh. Interesting name for a shop. I don't think I've ever heard that. Or maybe you mentioned it and actually, I'm gonna take you. Or maybe I wasn't paying attention at the time. That's where I work, Sloth Boy. Yeah, I know. And I understand it's a games shop. Wait, is this specifically a TTRPG like shop, or is it more like just an overall like tabletop type shop? Tabletop in general seems more likely, because that's like the shop we used to go to. That's basically what it was. Man, I don't like that. Ow. Honestly, thankfully, we're now at the point where I don't... I should collect eggs wherever I can. Have you dropped anything recently? Although I probably did just come into this chunk, so probably not. That armored skeleton's not having a good time. Actually, I'm gonna do this. Ooh, scared me for a moment. Now we sell Pokemon, MTG, and some D&D stuff and card game accessories. I would say that's like mostly like tabletop stuff. However, it seems like board games are notably missing. I am recognizing now that I really miss playing board games with people. And it's funny because as a kid, I was not a board games person, like at all. In fact, I remember deliberately avoiding it whenever my family wanted to play it. Cause I don't know, maybe I just really enjoyed the immersion I had with. Oh, right. I forgot about you guys. I guess I just really enjoyed the immersion video games had to offer. But I think now with board games, you know, changing taste, right? Ow. I got stuck on a block. I couldn't dodge them effectively. Should I actually go for you? Yeah. I'm starting to get like some practice. Ah. I've evidently not enough practice. Wow, okay. That was a really, really poor performance there. I think it was mostly because I was, like, a lot of the terrain around here is a little awkward. Oh, nope, I'm not doing a spider and a baby zombie at the same time. Nope. Doing this way. The only bad thing about this is that if a skeleton comes up on me, it becomes quite a bit of an issue. Okay, I'll be back. Alrighty. But yeah, now that I'm a little bit older... Oh, I hear a spider. Okay. Dang it. Yeah, I keep finding myself in situations where I don't have as much maneuverability. I think that's the issue I'm running into. Ow. Jeez. Okay, I'm gonna retreat back inside for a little bit. As much as I like exploring, I would rather not die. I need a little bit of time to recover. But yeah, that was just overall poor performance. Here we go. Yeah, but I don't know. I guess I just kind of see the what's the word? The appeal of, you know, being in the maybe it's because, you know, now that like half my friends are out of state now, I kind of am able to appreciate how being in the same room with somebody and just kind of, you know, being face to face and, you know, interacting physically. I'm a little bit starved of that at the minute. A little unfortunate, but oh well, what are you gonna do? But I mean, hey, you guys are gonna be coming back down in mid-June, so oh, I almost double ate there. In fact, I'm gonna take that out of my hotbar just so the game doesn't glitch out and I double eat. Okay, actually, I'm gonna put you away. Okay. Now we should be a little bit better. Yeah, maybe I didn't pick... Oop. I crafted a bowl without the Oxy Daisy. Whoops. Oop, skeleton. I want to get some bones if I can. Oh, I didn't get any bones from that? Wow. That was a scam and a half. I can't wait until I get, you know, enchants because, like, honestly, what I'll probably consider trying to get projectile protection because skeletons are such an issue. Okay. Now that that's over. Hey, Multivers, I will be honest, I don't understand that. But welcome in. So I'm gonna go ahead, start making a little platform. This is gonna be really ugly, but I'll be honest with you, I don't particularly care at the minute. I know that we don't quite have the wood to do this yet, but I do want to at least get this started. A little more suspicious stew going. Boop, and wow, I am... Oh, do I not have any more red mushrooms on me? Yeesh. That's not good. So, hold on. I kind of have to figure out what kind of layout I want to do. So maybe like 4x4 with the cactus. So, probably decently big. It's going to be very similar to what I did in Nations and Nobles Season 1. Very simple setup. And I'm out of cobblestone, because I'm the best. And I planned ahead accordingly. But, yeah, when it comes to, like, movies, so far, I think my favorite series of, like, video game movies has been, like, the Sonic movies. Like, yeah, they're a bit corny, but it's not in a bad way at all. Because, Sonic is kind of inevitably corny to a certain extent, so I think it works. But with Minecraft, it just didn't quite... Like, and Mario, it felt a little too shallow. Which I get it, because, you know, there's a lot of history to pack into a single, animated movie, which is usually shorter. And, like, Sonic, like, at least with Sonic, they're trying to spread out, you know, all of Sonic's different... And I think Sonic, there's been multiple instances where they, you know, have tried to imitate a movie structure, so it translates a lot easier. Meanwhile, Mario and Minecraft, that's a little bit harder because they actively have to think everything out. And meanwhile, you know, everybody working on Sonic, they're not working entirely from scratch, which has its difficulties and its drawbacks because, you know, there's certain expectations you have to meet. And that can be a little intimidating. But overall, I think it does make it easier. It gives you a bit of a guideline. Okay, so... trying to figure out what I should work on next. I think I'm going to keep trying to go for this for now. I should probably make... Actually, you know what? I'm gonna just put a water thing here. And then I'll just try and pick up water and go back and forth as I go. Thankfully, the water was done in a way that isn't too annoying. Although, now that I think about it, I think I am going to try and limit it here. There we go. Make that a little less annoying with not too much investment. Actually, why don't I just do the sand like a normal person? But yeah, for those who don't know, because it has been a little bit, I'm trying to get a cactus farm going so that I can get a reliable source of bone meal. Now, I know that cactus is not the most most efficient source of bone meal, but the nice thing about cactus is that it's extremely simple to set up, and you also, you know, it's very easy to keep expanding. So if I get a bazillion cactus, you know, I could just add more and more layers up. Hey, Sean. Welcome in. And I'm not sure if I quite agree, but I appreciate the compliment. It's pronounced cacti. Hey, Silver. Good luck on your stream. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate it. Oh, I think the reason I did 4x4 in the first place was, yeah, because you have a perfect center. Okay, I thought there was like some more reasoning behind that. Thank you, Silver. But yeah, we're trying to get a cactus farm going. But overall, yeah, I did actually watch the third Sonic movie this like literally the day after. Maybe I was just hungry for a palate cleanser after the Minecraft movie. I think like after I got out of the theater for the Minecraft movie, I genuinely had a little bit of a headache because it was just like one of those movies where it just baffles you to such a degree. But like Sonic 3, I'll be honest with you, I was like maybe a little too hyped for it. Because, you know, that's when Shadow was introduced and what have you. I feel like it didn't quite deliver on my expectations. I think I think the movie felt a little too fast paced. I am a sucker for slower paced stuff. Like semi-slow burn, but I don't think I don't know, it just felt a little too fast. I feel like I wasn't really given a chance to attach to Shadow and, you know, really feel his backstory. And, you know, they did show off his backstory. It's not like they, you know, completely skipped over it, but I don't know, I just feel like I didn't quite feel it. But overall, the movie was pretty good. I also, like, small pet peeve, and I think I feel this a lot more because, you know, Tails is my favorite character. Well, actually, it's in between Tails and Silver. Yeah, there's a Sonic character named Silver. A little coincidence. And I don't know, I feel like Tails was just not given a real opportunity to shine, which is a little frustrating. And I feel like Knuckles got the short end of the stick too. Like, it was definitely just like a Sonic in Shadow type movie. What? I didn't double click. Let me make my fences. Okay, that should be good enough for now, I guess. Get another water bucket just in case. But in terms, I would give the Sonic movie a solid, or the third Sonic movie, a solid, like high C, low B tier. I think low B is a little more fitting. Hey Toaster, how you doing? Just trying to, oh, right, I gotta, okay, good, I do not have enough for a hopper. Because in order for any of this to work, I do need a hopper. Because I can't just be standing underneath the cactus farm the entire time. I'm not going to worry too much about getting like a dual hopper composter setup, because I don't think I really have the iron for it. I'm doing fine. Awesome. Okay. Just gonna get 2 chests, get 1 hopper, and we'll be good from there. Doing mighty fine. Glad to hear it. I ended up taking a walk this morning. Or, well, okay, by morning, more like noon, because I I'll be honest, I had this walk right before stream. I really wanted to take a walk today because the weather was really nice. Whenever the weather's nice, I have a tendency to either want to have... It's like two very different sides of the spectrum. I either want to have basically a picnic in my car, or I want to have... or I want to go on a walk around my neighborhood. And I'll be honest, my neighborhood isn't like the most visually stimulating in the world, but you know, it's enough. It's nothing, you know, it's it's a place to walk. And you know, it's a fairly decently sized neighborhood, so I can like take different paths on different walks. You know, it's somewhat satisfying to just kind of explore. I haven't really explored that much of the neighborhood now that I'm thinking about it. Oh, great, I gotta deal with another skeleton. Do I have bow and arrow? Yep. Oh, I forgot about you guys. Okay, I'm gonna have to... I'm kind of half hoping that the skeleton hits one of them. Ow. That hit a lot more than I thought it was going to. Okay. Gonna have to bob and weave a little bit. I'm doing that thing where I... Nope, skeleton hit one of them. I'm doing the serpentine thing, and I'm like also physically IRL like not whinging, like leaning. How you doing? I'm doing all right. I haven't a little bit of a hard time trying to keep up with, you know, video stuff. I like, so like honestly, it's just been kind of a mess. Just because I've been trying to... Oh shoot, I meant to record with somebody, but I completely forgot on the time. Dang. I'm not even sure if they responded to me. Whoops. Okay, do I have healing materials? I do. You know, like, this past stream, I was honestly doing pretty decently when it came to, like, dodging skeletons and phantoms and whatnot, but now I'm really lacking. I guess it just kind of depends on the day for me. Do I have any bones? Yeah, I can cut down a tree in here while I wait. Oh, perfect. It only took one. Another suspicious stew. A little bit of extra wood to replenish what we lost with the fences. But yeah, at this point, I think I just need to prioritize trying to torch up the area as much as I can. Because, like, I think I can take care of the phantoms, but the phantoms with the skeletons, that's where it's really hitting me hard. And I have a little bit of forgiveness with the, whatchamacallit, the iron armor, but it's still a bit of a struggle. Hey, Riskier, how you doing? I'm doing all right myself. I'm struggling a little bit with not only like skeletons and phantoms at the same time, but also just a little bit with video stuff. I am definitely going to try to have the next Nations and Nobles video out by next Tuesday. That's the plan. Like everything is starting to come together, and this is usually the part of production that I'm able to really start gathering everything together. Oh, I don't like the look of that. That's That's not very appetizing. Ay, ay, ay. I completely whiffed on my aim. And now they're all going to be at different times. Dang it. Yeesh. Not my favorite activity. I will be honest. Wow, that was a hit that I did not need to take. Okay, they're having a hard time. I think they still can hit me. It's just that they're... Oh, maybe not. Yep, there we go. This is I accidentally made this the perfect height for them to try and follow me, but like it also allows me a little bit of space to dodge them and whatnot. Come on. Ow, how did I miss? How did I miss? I'm bad. I'm bad. Come on. Okay. That being said, I would like to get a little bit of healing going. I'm trying to get the cactus going, but it's kind of hard with these guys. And of course they're derping around. For some reason, I don't know why, but whenever, like, it's kind of always been this way. Whenever you kind of strafe around a mob, it's always a lot easier to hit them without them hitting you. I don't know if, like, their programming just kind of, like, gives them a slight delay on where to look, just for, like, optimization reasons or what. But, I'll take it. Ooh, actually, no, I'm gonna work on... I guess I lost that cactus for now. Okay, yeah, this should work. Oh, I guess whenever I... No. For a second I was like, ooh, whenever this update... Ooh. Huh. No thanks. Oh. In class again. Please don't die so I have something to watch later. Okay. Yeah, I'll try not to die to a stone slab again. No promises though. Just chilling. Thankfully these guys will be gone before too long. I wish there was a way to get rid of these guys that wasn't just sleep, because, you know, the challenge that I wanted with no sleep was, you know, fighting the mobs, and that more or less including the skeletons. Oop. I didn't think I was going to get a third hit off. I thought they would burn at this point. Okay. You're stuck. Yep. Go for that downward angle and get out of here. It's getting good at that. I didn't expect this platform to be a perfect phantom killing station. They might still try and hit me here. Nope, I think we're good. Yep. Okay. Wait. Yeah, this works. I've been trying to practice speed bridging a little bit whenever I'm just like casually building, because that's probably the best time to practice when, you know, stakes are fairly low. Should I be doing it in ultra hardcore? Maybe not, but I mean, I'm right over water here, so not a big deal. Because a while back I was on Twitter. And for those who don't know, there's a YouTuber named Ant Venom that, you know, he's kind of like he's, you know, been in the Minecraft community for a while, and no offense to the guy, but he's kind of considered to be washed up nowadays. And I ended up seeing that he you know, he was learning how to speed bridge and whatnot. It's just like, maybe I'm falling a bit behind. So maybe I should make some attempt to learn how to speed bridge. So yeah, I've just been casually trying to learn. How's life been? Honestly, all right. I have quite a number of things to do today that I'm not entirely fond of, but it's nothing like too bad. But man, is it an inconvenience? It's just one of those things. I don't want to get too much into detail about it quite at this moment, but yeah, it's one of those things. Outside of that, oof. I'll go up one more. I don't know how much space Cactus need to... Wow, that was unnecessary. And did I break my pickaxe? Or am I derping? I think I broke my pickaxe. But overall, I've been fine. Just mostly trying to organize things, especially when it comes to video stuff. And like so far, the build I have going on in episode 11 of Nations and Nobles, I'm liking so far, but it's kind of complicated because I'm trying to play with like the colors a bit, but man, making it so that it doesn't feel too disjointed is a little bit difficult. So it's a fun project, but it is a complicated project. And also, a lot of people have been sick as of recently, so it's been a little bit hard to film. But, and you know, that's not to dig at anybody. It's just, you know, how life is at times. Okay. What was I trying to do? I don't know why I came back. Oh, I think I was going to try and... The thing is, there's like so many things where I'm trying to, you know, optimize one thing, but it takes this other thing, but it also takes the first thing. So it's being interesting. But speaking of like, I guess going from like video game adaptations to just video games in general, I have some choice thoughts about Switch 2. Like I was getting a pickaxe, that's what I was doing. If you look on my other channel, I did end up doing a reaction to the Nintendo Direct for Switch 2. However, keep in mind, at the time, I did not know that, like, of all the prices for Switch 2. And now that I do know the prices for Switch 2, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get it. Like, I think the only way I could really justify getting a Switch 2 is if, you know, the next Pokemon, or like if Generation 10 of Pokemon is really good. And I'm out of cobblestone. Neat. Wow, okay. I'm being careless. Especially for like the amount of healing I have left. Yeah, I should be a lot more careful. And honestly, I should probably start thinking about an indoor project for whenever I end up needing to stay inside because I only have a couple of brown and red mushrooms left, and that's kind of serious. Ooh, I did not place down another sapling. That is a mistake. Like, not the worst thing in the world, but man, having another little thing to do inside does help. Okay, what was I grabbing? Cobblestone. But like, when I was thinking about Switch 2, I was like, before the Direct, I was kind of thinking along the lines of you know, $400 for the console itself, and also like $70 per game. And even then, I was not super fond of that. You know, Switch, I think the advantage with Switch is that, like, I think even a college student, your typical college student can get that. But when it comes to, you know, Switch 2, I feel like it's just outside of that range. I feel like most people with, you know, a lower income would not be able to... I think they could get it, but it's not easy to justify, if that makes any sense. And my stairs is starting to look a little disorganized. Oh well. Just try to make this look at least somewhat consistent. It is just like a giant bed of cobblestone, but oh well. That being said, I want to make another water bucket, but I don't have that much. Ooh, I'm out of sand. Or more likely, I just put my sand away like a bit of a doofus. But yeah, I think if they like have a really good, if Pokemon has like a really good game on Switch 2, like Legends ZA, it has a Switch 2 edition coming out, and I am debating on, you know, if I want to hold off until I decide. In fact, yeah, I think I'm gonna hold off on getting Legends ZA until I can decide whether or not I want to get Switch 2 or not. Because, like, if I'm given a bit of time to save up, I could theoretically get it. But man, I think the deciding factor for me is just going to be, you know, how good is like Pokemon's 10th generation going to be. Now, obviously, you know, there's some other games that I really want to get as well, such as Metroid Prime 4. And I know that also has that's the thing, that also has, you know, a Switch 1 version as well. So, you know, that's not really a deciding factor for me if I want to get Switch 2. And also Donkey Kong Bonanza, that also looks really good. But, you know, that pricing. And funny enough, for being quite a bit of a Mario Kart fan, I honestly don't think I'm going to get Mario Kart World. Because, like, yeah, the concept of having an open world is a fun idea, but after looking into it a bit more, I'm not so certain on how that's going to reflect in gameplay. It just seems a little bit lacking in terms of implementation. Because the only game that would make me consider Switch is Silksong, which is sequel to Hollow Knight. Yeah, and the thing is with I need to have this offset a little bit. The thing is with Silksong, I would be really surprised if that didn't go to different platforms. Like, I imagine it getting a Steam release. It's just like, I think that's how it came out originally. And considering, you know, it has origins as an indie game, I don't see why they would alienate their fans. Because I imagine a lot of people played it on Steam. And, like, overall, like, now I can definitely see how Hollow Knight, you know, is definitely one of those games where you know, you can definitely come up with a really good excuse. Ooh, barely saved myself from a complete barrage there. Holy smokes. I definitely feel, you know, how it could be a really good, like, on-the-go type game. But there's also, you could also make the argument of, you know, like, it's not too hard to make, like, a small form factor PC nowadays. Now, granted, it's a little bit harder to, you know, fit everything in than it would be for your normal PC, and you have to consider airflow a bit more. And also, I might be biased because, like, for me, you know, like, building a PC is, like, more complicated Legos. It's not terribly hard for me, like, until you get to, like, the motherboard type stuff. It's really not that hard. Although, to be fair, I think the motherboard is where everybody, you know, gets intimidated by. Because, you know, you have to find all the little places. And also, I think the power supply stuff as well. But it's not that, like, I personally don't think it's that hard to make a small form factor PC. And also, not to mention, you have the now cheaper option, which is crazy to me, of the Steam Deck, which goes for $400. And you know, that's just inevitably, you know, I imagine Silksong going to Steam, so it's just, you know, I feel like overall, if you want to play Silksong on the go, and there's nothing else on the Switch that is really tugging at you, I would just go for a Steam Deck. Yo, finally in time for a van stream. Hey Rex, how you doing? Been a bit. How's life? Okay, do I have any? I do have some bone meal left. Perfect. Although I should probably be using it for some healing, but oh well. We're just talking about video games and prices, especially when considering the Nintendo Switch 2. But yeah, I think the deciding factor for me is whether or not Pokemon's 10th generation of mainline games is, you know, going to be, you know, decisively better than Gen 9. And don't get me wrong, I liked Scarlet and Violet. I think I like gameplay is okay, but like the story was really good. It's just like that performance that like murdered the game for me. I'm doing great, thank you for asking. I mean, yeah, no problem. Wow, introversion at its greatest. Holy smokes. Good point, but I don't feel like spending $400 for a game that will possibly come out on Steam. Yeah, I mean, you already have a PC, and if you're really not hurting that much for a portable experience, then yeah, I would just say do it on your PC. However, for the sake of argument, if you needed to play it on the go, I would just say Steam Deck. Ooh, I forgot to do one thing. There we go. Let's cut out a room. I don't know what I want to put in this room, but I'm going to Good to know, though. Yeah, I like, I've been seeing, like, especially with the Switch, which I honestly might consider doing. I've been seeing, like, you know, since Nintendo has so many exclusives, you know, people are getting trying to get creative on, you know, how can I justify purchasing this product without it, you know, breaking my bank account. And I've been seeing, or, you know, doing, you know, how do I get a good portable experience that, you know, is that has current gen hardware. And the main solutions I've been seeing is, let's just say, cosplaying as a certain seafaring type on the Steam Deck, let's just say, or sharing a Switch 2 and splitting the costs. Yeah, definitely. $400 isn't really an ideal game price. Not so much for games, but for the console itself. And I mean, it's definitely possible for like the Switch 2 and everything associated with it to go up even further in prices due to some outside what's the word? Influences? I would split the price with someone else. Yeah, I actually I have a friend where we're like we're kind of softly thinking about it. We haven't taken it very seriously yet. Because we want to see if people are planning to like boycott Nintendo, or it's like, I don't even think it's going to be like a boycott really per se. I think it's going to be more just people not being able to afford it, period. Like, not even a formal boycott. Yeah, that actually makes sense if it's the equipment itself. Yeah, no, not 400 per game. But, well, that's actually also part of the problem, because Mario Kart World, that's going, at least currently, it's going for $80 in the US. And it's even worse in Canada, I think. I think in Europe it's not great either. It's like, holy smokes. Dang. That's rough. Now, honestly, like, I'm not super pressed about Mario Kart World, because I don't know, it feels like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe just feels more streamlined. And I understand the appeal of an open world, but when you think Mario Kart, you think of like high octane action. You don't really think of, you know, having a bunch of, you know, straight open roads. Well, they're not completely open, but like straight roads that you're just kind of casually driving down. I don't know, it doesn't seem that appealing to me personally. $80 for an online version and $90 for a physical copy. Yeah, I think if I do get Switch 2, I think I'm just gonna have to swallow the pill and just go for digital copies and not even go for physical anymore. Which sucks, because I know that's what Nintendo is trying to get people to do. Which is unfortunate, because, you know, I want to be able to own my games. I don't want to, you know, have it be subject to, you know, servers. I don't think I can swallow that pill. Yeah, that's completely fair. Okay, what am I gonna put in this room even? Maybe another like a seed farm, because having a little bit extra food never hurts, especially once I get like better armor. I think I will have an easier time taking less damage. Like, I think the main thing right now is just enchantments. In fact, actually, you know what? I think what I might end up doing is, at some point, is trying to look for shipwrecks. And like other structures, try and get diamonds, and also try and get some obsidian from either villages or ruined portals, because I'm just one obsidian short. And then try and get an enchanter out of it, because that's going to help us significantly. Yeah, we're just one obsidian short. I think it's doable. I think the diamonds is going to be the more difficult part. Yeah, might as well eat this mushroom stew. But in terms of the games that they're offering on Switch 2 right now, I just... man. Yay, Obsidian. Yeah, no, I guess when I was looking around for a place to stay, and also looking around for like mushrooms. Every single time I say mushrooms now, I think of that one Deep Rock Galactic meme where basically all the dwarves just say mushroom. Obsidian is a very nice MC block. I agree. It is a vibe. And it has quite a number of uses. I think that's like some of my favorite blocks that, you know, they look unique, but they also, you know, have a unique use as well. Very fun. I think I'm just one short. This is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I need one more on this side. Mushrooms. Rock and stone, my friend. Rock and stone. I haven't actually been playing that much Deep Rock Galactic as of recent. I've been having trouble playing a lot of games as of recent, which is also another reason why I've been kind of hesitant to get into Switch 2 at all, because I have quite a number of games in my backlog now, even on like Switch 1, and not even to mention on Steam. I haven't really been that responsible when completing games. Now, for one game, like 2 games in particular, I have a reason. Like say Breath of the Wild, and also like the funny enough, the 2 Zelda games I own, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Legend of Zelda Link to the Past. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not into the type of puzzles that Legend of Zelda provides, but I just can't get into it. I guess I'm just not a Legend of Zelda guy. And funny enough, I think I have mentioned this before, but I have been making I did, like, one of the things I made a New Year's resolution out of, and usually for New Year's resolution stuff, I try to do something that's like fairly attainable, or, you know, not terribly different to what I'm doing currently, but, you know, is something that I want to get into. Ooh, is it day? I should probably pay attention to that, considering that, you know, my healing is pending purely on that. Ooh, do I have a saddle? Considering how much I explored, I feel like I should have a saddle at this point. And considering a rule that I added just before the stream, actually, just in case I get past the Ender Dragon and I do want to play more, is that I don't want to play... I've essentially banned elytra from this world. Now, like, I can have an elytra, per se, but, like, for decoration purposes or whatever, like in an item frame, or as, like, part of a prize room, I don't know. But I can't actively fly. Although something that, like, a interesting twist on that could be interesting is, like, I can use elytra, but I can't use rockets with it. But I think a simpler way of putting it is just no elytra. Because that's one thing I've been trying to do, is making the rules simple and easy to understand. Just, like, partially for myself. Just so, you know, if I haven't picked it up in a while, because sometimes Oxeye Hardcore is very demanding, and sometimes, you know, I'm just not feeling it. And that's kind of why I've just kind of kept it to streams, because I don't stream terribly often. I've been trying to do better with streams. Oop. I thought I broke something accidentally, but that was just a cactus popping. But yeah, I have such a backlog of games. Like, I think Deep Rock Galactic, I've managed to play a decent amount now. I'm satisfied. And same with Risk of Rain. You know, if I never played it again, which is not likely going to happen, I would be satisfied with what I got out of it for its price. And, you know, for both of those games. Because I've played quite a bit with friends. I've had a good time with it. I'm actually also starting to play with some mods for Risk of Rain. There's a custom class called Arsonist. Yeah, it's about as chaotic of a class as it sounds. And I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's interesting. The funny story about that is that, you know, my friend CJ, who does play Risk of Rain with me, he, like, didn't like Arsonist at all. And here's the funny thing with me and CJ. If CJ doesn't like something, there's at least a 30% chance that I will like it, because CJ's and I's interests are very different at times. Including, you know, like the type of games we like to play, you know, our play styles, because, you know, he likes MMOs. I like sandboxes. I actually, with Risk of Rain, I'm having a hard time really nailing down what he likes, but, you know, we also have differing opinions about certain classes. We also play very different classes when it comes to Deep Rock Galactic. So it's just funny. We tend to play games in completely different ways. And I think that's kind of cool in a sense. But yeah, like, say for example, like MMOs, I have such a hard time with MMOs at times. And maybe there's probably several underlying reasons for that. I think overall I like RPGs. I haven't really been able to play many RPGs, admittedly, but I do enjoy RPGs. So theoretically, you would think, and I like multiplayer games, so you would think that I wouldn't have too much of an issue when it comes to, it's like up here. Does that seem right? Yeah. You would think I wouldn't have too much of an issue when it comes to, like an MMO RPG, because, you know, multiplayer and you're, you know, it's an RPG. You know, it seems like my kind of game, but a little bit of a background story. My first MMORPG was Final Fantasy XIV. My sister started playing it a bit on the PlayStation. Yes, because there is a PlayStation 4 port of Final Fantasy. Because it seemed to have that, like, my dad got it thinking that it, you know, had the general aesthetics that my sister enjoyed, and not really looking too much into it past that. And eventually, you know, my sister, you know, played it for a bit. We enjoyed the story, but we didn't like that we were forced to go into multiplayer segments. My sister especially, she's definitely more of a solo player. She likes Skyrim a lot. She has a lot of hours in Skyrim. But I think the MMO part of it for her, she just doesn't like, because you're constantly under the pressure, like especially if with people that you don't know, you're constantly under the pressure of having to be like super good at your class, and if you're not, you'll get kicked out of the party or something. And the thing is, in Final Fantasy XIV, you absolutely have to do some dungeons with other people. If you do not have other people, it will not let you do the dungeon, which I think is just generally bad from a game design standpoint. Like, I understand that you want to have the player you want to encourage the player to have a specific experience, but I think you should allow at least some flexibility in that, because if you don't, you're gonna alienate some of your players. I understand that the point of an MMORPG is to work together. However, there are a lot of people who play RPGs that don't like, playing in a group. Hey, Kid Knock? Or Kid Nooch? Or Kid Knock? Sorry, I don't... I probably butchered it, but hello, welcome in. How are you doing? I'm doing pretty alright. I'm just kind of talking about MMORPGs at the moment and my general attitude on it. Call me how you can. I'll just call you Kid. That's probably what I would naturally shorten it to anyways. But yeah, in terms of everything good here? Awesome. Glad you are big chillin'. Or at least it seems. Been a while since I've had the time to watch your videos. I remember your survival slime farm. Oh yeah, that was a little while ago. Yeah. So sometimes my videos can be like that. I've heard my friend dub them good second monitor content, which honestly, yeah, I get it. And honestly, I totally get it. When you make long form content, I've been trying recently to try and like shorten things down, try and get a little bit more to the point, because I think overall my attitude with like what I want to do with a video has changed a bit. They were very relaxing for me. I'm glad. I still do try to strive for that a little bit, because that has been something people have, said about my content in the past, just generally being relaxing. And I try to, I think it's mostly just me being me, so it's not exactly too hard for me to, just keep being me, I guess. But yeah, I've been trying to at least keep that in mind to some degree, especially when I edit. I think editing is where sometimes that can fall apart for some people. It's totally been you. Yeah. I'm not a very loud person. Generally, I try to. I'm decently reserved. Now, there are times where I am a bit more like I a bit hard to fathom, I know, but I do sometimes get excited. Especially when it comes to, any big like video game announcements, or like you know, something big happening in a game. You know, I'm a human. But, you know, I think that's the case for a lot of people. However, some people do say that I can be a bit deadpan at times, which, if you're really into something, you end up enjoying it. Yeah. I guess when at the times I tend to be like the most deadpan is whenever I'm doing something, you know, that either I'm not like fully into. Most of the time it's just me, you know, like I'm doing some sort of menial task that and I'm like, my brain's just kind of thinking about something else. I'm just what's a good way of explaining this? My brain isn't like fully on the task of hand. I'm kind of daydreaming in a sense. You are just chill. Oh, thank you. I will take that as a compliment. Okay, still kind of nice. Usually I would try to be a little bit more adventurous, but at the minute I'm very low on healing, and I don't want to risk the world just be. Oh, this is already cooked. Okay, no, I don't have any bones left. Hey, Tax Tappy, how are you doing? But I was talking about MMOs earlier, and I think my general opinion of MMOs is like, if you can still play it like your normal RPG, then I'm probably more likely to enjoy it. Just because there are just times where I don't really want to interact with people too much, because, you know, I big surprise, Minecrafter that, you know, tries to make videos is an introvert. Yeah, who could have thought? But you know, there are times where I just want to do something by myself, or I just, you know, want to, I want to, and sometimes, you know, it's just that I want to be able to grind a bit on levels or something, and sometimes doing a dungeon is the easiest way of doing that. Doing great, and you guys? I've been doing all right. I managed to get a walk in earlier today. It wasn't too long. I think I could only walk for about 40 minutes-ish, which is actually kind of short for me, because I mean, I'm not the fastest walker, so I generally try to get a lot of steps in, but I don't get a lot in a certain amount of time. Well, actually, no, I do manage to get a certain amount of steps in, but I also, you know, I like walking a lot. That's kind of when I, quote unquote, daydream the most. Well, I mean, actually, this last time while I was walking, like this noon, I guess, this noon, I was actually listening to a podcast. It was by Count Monty. I think his channel, like his full channel name is like Count Monty dash Minecraft, because you do have to specify in the search, because there's a lot of people named Count Monty. But is it starting this day? I hope so. I do want to expand. Yes, okay. I would like to expand on the farm, please. How am I doing on fences? Not great. In fact, actually, I could do one more level. Actually, with the cactus I have, yeah, I should probably make a couple more fences, and then, because you have to, like, in order to start getting like a decent amount of bone meal with the cactus, you do have to put in a good, like, you have to do quite a few of it. So Yeah, I'm gonna try hard on this a little bit. I say try hard. I don't know why that was the first phrase that came into mind. But yeah, I was listening to a podcast where he was basically interviewing someone who's actually a friend of mine named Ori, Arias Keiko. If I think a good few of you know who Ori or Arias Keiko is at this point. Stream so chill, I forgot about the dying forever thing. Yeah, that's why I'm trying to get a cactus farm going so that I can get a bunch of bone meal, so that I can grow a bunch of mushrooms, so that I can make a bunch of regenerative suspicious stew. Now, obviously, I still need to find a biome that will grow Oxeye daisies and make like another portal to that, but I've managed to gather so much in advance that it's not being that big of a deal for me. So I can say hold off on that until a bit later, but I am struggling on mushrooms at the minute. So I'm trying to get my bone meal going there. And eventually, that room over there with the sapling, this torch will go away and I'll be able to place mushrooms here, grow them here, and be inside and safe and all of that. Now, I have been putting a decent amount of torches around here. In fact, you can see that I was originally planning on doing like a mushroom farm here. I was trying to block the sunlight, but I ended up scrapping it because I didn't have iron armor yet and I was struggling with skeletons. Okay, is there anything else I need? Did I put away my water bucket? I did. But yeah, they were basically just talking about a bunch of YouTube and life stuff. And honestly, I think when it comes to like podcasts and whatnot, I definitely like the interview style a lot more, because I think I just like hearing the perspectives of different people in life. And seeing like their different like what they have to do day to day to do what they do. And for example, and you know, I'm a little biased here because, you know, Ori's my friend, but it was interesting to kind of listen to her chat about, you know, how she like all the hurdles she has to go through to, you know, make videos. Because for those who don't know, you know, she has a job, she has kids, and her setup is, I don't know if it's like super public information, but let's just say her setup is interesting to work with. I think it was mentioned during the podcast that like her S key is like popping off half the time. And it's really interesting to hear how, you know, she manages to get around that, and, you know, her perspective on just trying to make it work. And I think that applies to a lot of different people as well, even if it's just like how, like their attitude towards certain things, because it might differ from my own. And I don't know, it's just, I like hearing people ramble. I actually, a lot of the time, I will go out to broken S key, no going back, and so symbolic. Yeah, she's on that grind set. I gotta tell her that one. That's fun. And I have thought about like a possible like video idea that would let's say would incorporate that S key. However, you know, it would take multiple people, and if you have ever tried to do content with multiple people before, you would know that sometimes organizing it, or well, especially if they're adults, sometimes organizing it can be extremely difficult. And sometimes it can just even fall down to like you trying to find the time to organize everything. Not even like trying to get a schedule going, but like trying to figure out how everything works. And all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I lesson of the day, I enjoy podcasts. I actually another podcast I listen to a lot, I think it's like up here. Yeah, that'll work. Is also like one that's much more mainstream, but the Hot Ones, because again, I like that interview style. And I have thought of doing something along those lines multiple times, but it's just like one of those things where, you know, I want to do like a bazillion different things. In fact, like in the Nations and Nobles Discord today, the question, like we kind of have a this is why we practice in low stakes environments. It's raining. The relaxing rain. However, that is definitely going to ruin the bitrate. I apologize. Do I have food? Not really. Doesn't really matter at this point, but oh well. But I think one of the most interesting parts about Hot Ones for me is just personally, you know, how like the type of questions that they ask, because you can definitely tell that they are trying to avoid, you know, the baseline questions like, oh, what's your favorite food? And I understand, and I'm not saying that those are bad questions to ask, especially like if you're making a podcast and you're just kind of, you know, casually making one and you're just trying to get started in the space. But I think there's definitely a lot of ways of kind of spicing up the conversation. Digging a little deeper, I think, is especially if you're doing like a more interview type thing, because if you can kind of and I think one of the best parts about doing this is like how off guard you can throw somebody, because you can kind of throw a question at them that they are not expecting whatsoever, and they kind of have to answer on their feet. But at the same time, you know, it's not in a malicious way. It's just, you know, it's a cause for some very interesting talking points, in my personal opinion. I think that, and also for people who are enjoying a podcast, I think it causes for the viewer to really learn more about the person. Like, say, I want to have an interview with Kawhi Leonard. For those of you who don't know, he's a basketball player. And I wanted to... I don't really know that much about the guy. I don't really watch that much basketball. But out of like all the basketball players there are, he is my favorite. Because, you know, he's very chill. He's very, you know, he's not too celebratory. He's very, you know, calm, collected. You know, if he makes a shot, he doesn't, you know, go get in everybody's faces about it. He just kind of, you know, goes back onto defense, does his thing, you know, he does his job, and he has fun doing it. That's what I like about him. I think that's one thing I would, you know, definitely ask about as a fan of Kawhi Leonard. You know, where did you, like, where did that mindset come from? You know, that it's a deep question ish. I'm sure, you know, he's been asked something along those lines in the past. and it's probably common knowledge. I just don't... I'm not that well studied in basketball, and probably not a good example, but, you know, it's something that if you're a fan of Kawhi Leonard, that's something you're definitely going to be naturally intrigued about. Ooh, question, how much... We haven't really gotten... Oh, wow, we already have... ooh. Little jump scare. I've completely... What are you trading? You're here. Black dye. Blue ice. Too expensive, though. I know that Wandering Traders had a little bit of a buff not too long ago, but I wish they had more, essentially. Like, for a little bit, they were actually kind of OP, because back before Caves and Cliffs was, like, fully implemented, like, one of the main ways you could get the stuff from it was through Wandering Traders, and I think that was kind of cool. And I think they should kind of, you know, expand on that sort of attitude. Okay, I'm gonna... I do not have any good food. So I'm gonna have to awkwardly walk back home because I was dumb and I didn't craft any bread for myself or anything. Good job, me. Okay. But I am glad that we have managed to get this much cactus. At some point, I would definitely like to just, you know, get so a bunch of bone meal into, like, overdrive. Just, like, have something... It's something that would be kind of funny is if I managed to get this thing to the height limit, even though that would definitely not be practical, because I feel like there's a certain point where it wouldn't even be loaded properly. Okay. Okay, thankfully it's only one. Oh, that could have been bad. It could have knocked me straight into lava. I didn't even think about that strategy until right now. Oh my gosh. That's brilliant. Why have you not tried that? Okay, it's not brilliant, but I don't know what I was trying to say there. It's actually very obvious. I don't know why I haven't thought of that. Pulling out some UHC strategies. For those who don't know, in UHC, or ultra hardcore, different ultra hardcore to this, where you're basically, you know, also doing like PvP. Something that would be very common is like making a little bit of a wall, just so someone couldn't shoot you from afar with a bow and arrow. Because in that, you also cannot naturally regenerate. So arrows actually matter a lot. And especially in some servers, because it would actually, like, if you shot somebody, it would actually tell you their health. Situation so stressful you had to pull out the fort. I didn't even think about Fortnite. But I guess that's what everybody, you know, kind of attributes it to now. Okay. I want to see if I can make a composter now. See how... I forget how often you can actually get a cactus to fill it up. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. I definitely am gonna have to add more layers. Oh, hey, I managed to get it with just 2. That's honestly an achievement. But man, I at times I think, am I out of the loop with games? And like whenever I think about like Fortnite or anything like that, it's definitely causes me to think about that, because I am no good at Fortnite. I've played a little bit but I don't think I've played since at least 2018. Oh dang, it's been, oh shoot, 2018 was how long ago now? 7 years ago? Holy smokes. I feel old, even though I'm not that old. I'm only like 22. But man, it's like everything from like the 2010s feels like it's not that long ago. Don't say that, that's causing me psychic damage. Emotional damage. Yeah, hearing a couple of phantoms going off. Wonderful. My favorite. Ah, yes, I this is such a sad farm. I don't know why. I don't know why, but this specific setup, maybe it's because I like pre-tilled everything and I only have 2 seeds. Surely I have more somewhere, right? Surely. That's not it. No, I think that's it. Looks cozy, must feel so good for the crops. Yeah, you know, the whole no sunlight thing. It's fantastic. Yeah. At least I have 1 cooked salmon. Oh, I completely forgot I do have some hay bales. Okay, let's try and recover here. It's basically the whole reason, you know, I have them. I just haven't thought about them too much because... Okay, what else should I start trying to do in here? I want to do something like here. This is even, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What? Where's your soup? I am dangerously low on mushrooms at this point, so I need to be extremely... Honestly, okay, I should probably make a couple. But hey, Ori, welcome in. Definitely was not talking about you earlier or anything. Wasn't talking about the you being on Count Monty's podcast at all. I need to watch it still. Okay, I will be honest. I'm not sure if I've mentioned this on stream, but on any like talking centric thing that I'm on, whether it be like somebody else's live stream or the Nations and Nobles podcast is a perfect example. I have a really hard time watching it back because there are times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this is the center. I wasn't a complete fool, but I have a hard time watching it back because mostly because I have a hard time handling myself in a conversation. Especially, I have a really bad tendency to cut people off because I don't know. I have a really hard time telling when they're gonna stop talking. So I have to essentially have the awkward exchange of like, no, you go ahead. I made a bad call. Exactly why I haven't watched it yet. Yeah, I cringe at myself. Yeah, essentially. I've been trying to get better with that because, you know, I want to support those people, but or that channel, but man, sometimes it is difficult. So that there will be times where I will just leave it on my phone at like the lowest volume I could have it, and just like have it playing off to the side. Feel you on that. I had to make a few videos on some school projects, and editing them was the bane of me. Yeah, it's like, I think to some extent, I think part of it is you are, I think you can get used to it at some point, but I think to a certain degree it never completely goes away, especially if you're a certain type of person. I 100% will do that. Yeah. I've over the years, I've managed to get used to doing a solo commentary because it's just myself, right? And sometimes, you know, if it's a one-on-one, I'm not too bad either. But if it's a whole group of people, I have a hard time getting used to that. How long have I been making videos? I've thought about this like multiple times. I think I'm around the 9-year mark. Yeah, I started in like 2016, like early 2016. Unfortunately, that channel is now deleted. I still regret doing that, but I mean, as much as I cringed at some of those videos, I think learning from your past mistakes and being able to refer back to what you used to do is important. If you, hot tip, if you ever want to like start over on something, just private the videos. Don't just delete the channel. Hey, Sean. Welcome back. Speaking of which, I did see that they mentioned you, Sean, in Count Monty's show. That was a fun little surprise. How are you still not done growing? I know they mentioned me. I watched it. Yeah, I saw you comment on the video. It was like, hey. Okay, what do I want to do in here? I gotta do something. Maybe this could be like a future proper storage room. You know, living in the land of the sickness. Yeah, unfortunately, that's been for a lot of people. I've been trying to, like, film some stuff with people for Nations and Nobles, but that ends up being a consistent issue, and you know, you can't, I'm not complaining because, you know, that's a bit rude, but it is very unfortunate. We're passing around like trading cards. Yeah. And the thing is, I was just sick myself, and I still am not entirely certain, like, the specifics of how I got sick. Like, I know it was from, Raising Cane's, but I don't know if it was either that the chicken was undercooked, or that, like, one of the employees was sick, and I happened to have it passed to me, like, through the food. And, like, I originally I thought it was food poisoning, leaning towards the, you know, just the chicken being undercooked. But now I'm thinking, with like how much sickness that's been going around, I'm starting to think that, you know, maybe it's, I don't have the cobblestone to place the fences. Whoops. I'm starting to think that it was from an employee. And I've had multiple people like lecture me, you know, you should, you know, talk about that with like the manager or something. Here's the thing, I'm not a very confrontational person. Unless if I can avoid it, I try to avoid confrontation. Ori is epic? Agreed. That is a pog statement. Same, so same. Yeah. The thing is, like, I do think that is important to a degree, because that, like, not so much because of me, but also, you know, it could happen to other people. But, you know, so much time has passed now that it's just like, I don't think it's really worth it. I think it's just best that I leave it for now. If it happens again, though, I think I will have some words. not like, you know, malicious words, but I will have some words. This cactus farm gives me flashbacks. Yep. It just so happens that's definitely, it's just like one of the easiest farms to do when you have no materials. I didn't realize how much the song sounds like a Minecraft track. Like, especially from like the Lena Rain type soundtrack. It's okay to be upset that someone who's working with food is passing sickness around. Expected even. I can't bring myself to say anything. Yeah, it's just, it's one of those things, like, especially since I also, you know, I have worked before, and I understand that, you know, when you mess up, and you know that you messed up, the last thing you want to have happen is, you know, have someone like bring it to your face again. You don't, it's just, you're already like pushing yourself down enough about it. It's the last thing you want. But if it's like something that keeps happening, chances are that like something needs to be done, you know? Just gonna do this so it makes it easier to swim up. The worst water elevator in the world. Let's go. Well, a lot of sinus pressure today. Like, it's making me feel dizzy. Such fun. And the youngest is back to, oh my gosh. You guys are just in a nightmare. Funny enough, like, Ori, I was actually just, like, yesterday, I was planning to ask you, you know, how's everything going? Is everything, you know, stable, essentially? But I, like, when I was first thinking about it, it was, like, really early in the morning. I was like, I don't want to wake her up. But then I got busy and I forgot about it. Because I'm a great friend. It's not as bad as it was, so it's totally okay. But I'm just so over it. Yeah, no, I get it. I totally get it. So I have a little bit more sand, so I could add another layer, actually, with the cactus we've managed to get. So, stretch goals! Yay? Yeah, we have enough cactus for this. Now the limiting factor is sand. Which, I mean, we could always go ahead and get more sand. It's not an impossibility. But I think there is a point where I just need to start working on bone mealing it all. Ah, yes, this is very familiar. Even the whole staircase action. But yeah, Ori, I hope that everything manages to fix itself soon, because man, it's been going around for a long time now. I miss chatting with you. I miss our long chats overnight that would go on for way too long, and we would probably both be way too tired the next morning. We're here for you metaphorically, yes. Hopefully we're on the mend now. I miss that stuff very much too. Yeah. Love sick season, or flu season rather. But I like, honestly, I don't remember it being this bad in like recent years. Oh, I'm gonna have to remember the possibility of phantoms popping up. Do I even have... No, I don't even have a filled bucket. But I was... Oh, I'm out of cobblestone. Well, I should probably head back in anyways. So I was talking earlier about like my ever-growing backlog of games, and honestly, like, that's one of my like biggest New Year's resolutions is just trying to get into more games, because I think, like, as much as I love Minecraft, I think there's only so much I'm going to be able to do before I inevitably burn out. Does anyone know how Beardo is doing? I have not really chatted with him too much. Partially because I am extremely socially inept. That's certainly a way of putting it. But I know that he has been having a hard time, you know, just finding places with internet. Play Call of Duty. Call of Duty is definitely not one of my games. It's just, I have too many games in my backlog. Like one game that I like, and last I talked to him, he was great. Just beardoing around. Yep, that sounds about right. Like Psychonauts 2, I've like started like a couple of times. I just never finish it. And just because of time constraints, I never make the time to do it. And I think part of the problem is that I want to, you know, either stream or... Well, hello there. Part of the problem is I don't know how to regulate things that I just want to, you know, chill out and not worry about recording or streaming, and stuff that I do want to stream. Because like, as a person who's been doing like YouTube stuff to some extent since like 2016, I don't know. I get a certain amount of joy just, you know, chatting with people while I do something. However, there are times where I feel like I should just be more in the moment with a game. Like, say for example, I think if I played Witcher 3, I think that would definitely be more of a solo game. Because let's just say, like, there was one point in time, I have Witcher 3 for the PlayStation 4, just for a little bit of context. And the person who, when I first started trying to play it, the person I was living with at the time, hardcore backseat gamer. And sometimes that makes it a little hard to enjoy. And like there's just a point where I just stopped playing it altogether. And I haven't really been able to pick it up since. And I will... Beardo is epic. Yes, I agreed. Honestly, when it comes to Beardo, I don't know. So I have a hard time like describing him at times, at least from personal experience. He is like a pretty big inspiration for me when it comes to building, but he's also just... He has a wonderfully chaotic energy that kind of, I don't know, eases the room in a weird way. Not that it's weird, it's just that it's odd how he manages to do it, if that makes any sense. I wish I was able to do stuff with him more often. What was I doing? I probably should... wait, so I need 16. So I need to make sure that I allocate that. Okay, there we go. So something I tend to... oh, okay, that didn't really allow me to showcase it for long, but sometimes I'll... sometimes I'll kind of like kind of alternate my fingers on the right click. I don't know if there's like if there's a term for that. Probably is for like some of those hardcore gamers, but I don't know. I do that exclusively for composting and nothing else. No games, no other games or anything. It is specifically composting in Minecraft. But, you know, there's The Witcher 3. For like my backlog, I have like The Witcher 3, Psychonauts. I've barely touched Baldur's Gate 3, which you would think I would be like really into. But I've admittedly had some like choice paralysis with. Because unfortunately, I run into that a lot. I'm trying to improve on that and just trying to enjoy the game and not think too hard about, you know, certain stats or whatever, because you hear, especially like something with like Elden Ring, and Elden Ring is coincidentally also in my backlog. You hear so much about like, you know, these specific builds, and you kind of get in. Oh, I probably need torches in that, don't I? I actually, do Cactus need torches? I'm probably going to put some in there just in case, but that's actually a good question. I do not know. But yeah, I'd prefer if this thing was running consistently. Hopefully I don't get too much in terms of phantoms spawning on me because I have blocks above me. Let's do this. It's going to pop off with the... Actually, I don't know. No, it shouldn't mess with the torch, right? The torch should be able to stay. Now, I know that this is being a little incessant with the torches, but I want to maximize my profits. But what else is there? I know there's like at least one. Oh, I bought some games from the spring sale. Oh, hello. Well, if not to help with the... Oh, it's starting day. Well, that's good timing. Yeah, can you come over here? I completely forgot about the possibility of mobs spawning on it. Whoops. Yeah, I probably should have started trying to torch this up well before that had an opportunity to happen. Oh well. We're working on it now, and that's what matters, right? But I ended up getting Dredge, which I heard is a fun story game, but it's also like kind of chill. it's like it has its tense moments, but it's also chill. So I honestly might try and stream that one, as well as Outer Wilds. I've heard that Outer Wilds is really good. I've heard like two things about Outer Wilds, and that it has a really good story, and that you should do everything you can to avoid spoilers. Those are the two things I've heard. So it's just like one of those games that I've yet to make time for. But I might stream those two on Twitch or something. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna do this first. Just so I have a slightly... Oh, nope. That's wrong. I keep thinking, like, of placing these right where the fences are going to go, but I'm using this to place the fences off of, not to... Yeah, not my brightest moment. Oh, and one other game that is not in the backlog, but will definitely be in the backlog, probably for a little bit, is Hytale. Because, man, it just seems like a really nice flavor of Minecraft. With like a lot of, you know, additional stuff added to it. And here's the thing, when you have like a game being built from the ground up, you usually... and also the fact that, you know, Hytale is made up of, you know, the staff from Hypixel, who have been, you know, designing games for who knows how long. And naturally, you know, they're gonna pick up a lot on game design. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, I've had criticisms of Hypixel's game design in the past, but I'm still intrigued on how they're going to design Hytale, especially because, you know, inevitably you're going to take a full game a little bit more seriously than your typical game, or your typical mini game within another game, right? So... you know, as a fan project. So, and so far, the, like, monsters and races and all that are looking pretty interesting so far. It looks like it takes, like, some fantasy D&D inspiration, which I'm all for. Oh. Torches. I need to place some torches up here. Kind of forgot because it's bright again. Or bright-ish. And what is with the rain today? But yeah, the podcast does look like a lot of fun. So I'm glad that you were able to enjoy yourself, Ori. I think chatting in general is just nice, because sometimes you don't always get that opportunity to just, you know, do nothing but just sit and talk. I mean, sometimes, like, you know, play something in the background, but, you know, just generally just talking is nice. I'm actually gonna keep doing this because I know if I don't, I'm just gonna run into it and walk off for whatever reason. Like, my brain's just gonna turn off while I'm going up the stairs. But I actually looked at they actually gave a little bit of an update, like a spring update, and it looks like they're getting, like, little bit closer to doing external testing. Now, I'm not... That could mean a couple of different things. Whether that means, like, you know, actually doing, you know, proper beta testing to the public, or not. I'm guessing what that means is that, like, external testing just means that, like, you know, keep it to, like, a very few trusted people. Like, say one of the developers gives it to their sister or something, you know. That's what I'm thinking might happen with the quote-unquote external testing. I do not need a water bucket for this. And yeah, I've been trying to casually keep tabs on the Hightail for a good while now. Basically, ever since they, like, I basically check in every now and again, mostly because a lot of my friends are fairly interested in playing it. Because, you know, it's Minecraft, but, like, you also might have some other clear objectives, which is definitely up more, you know, CJ's alley for sure. Okay. So now that we have a decent amount of cactus going, we should be having a decent amount, or like at least some bone meal coming in. Now, eventually, actually, I guess I can theoretically do this. Because, actually, no, I need one to go into the I need okay, so I'm going to need to get some more iron. Wonderful. Before I properly, like, can do an automatic composter setup, because I need like an additional 2 hoppers, and I only have enough for 1. Okay. So, thankfully, with mushrooms, you know, you get a kind of decent bang for your buck. Unfortunately, you don't always get it when it drops. I'm hoping to get a fortune axe at some point. Just so I can, you know, get more bang for my buck when mining down mushrooms. But let's plant down 1 mushroom each and try to bone meal them the full. Okay, let's get rid of that. I believe that is dark enough. So boop and boop. I'm probably only going to have enough for 1 for now. Oh well. And also, once we get like a good amount of seeds going, we'll also probably be able to get... Oh, nice. Okay, we managed to get it with 1. Thankfully, this is... I was about to say easy to mine, but I instantly broke my axe. Stone block playthrough when? That is a mod pack, correct? I'll be honest with you. I like when it comes to Minecraft, I am very picky when it comes to mods. Like, I think the only mod that I like in recent memory that I've actually like taken seriously with gameplay is Cobblemon. And that is like recently. Just like this kind of gameplay. Maybe I'll look into it, but don't get your hopes up. Because I'm very particular when it comes to that. Because with Minecraft, right, I enjoy some of the limitations it has. But I like there are some mods that like just feel like more of an inconvenience than anything. Like you have to spend 4 hours of gameplay to get a crafting table. It's just like, okay, what's what's the point? It feel like, to me, it feels like adding filler episodes to an anime. No, I know it's an older mod pack. I was just joking. Ah, gotcha. Sorry. I am not always the best with sarcasm, especially in text. So my apologies. Is there anything I can use to get a little bit more bone meal? Just so I can grow this brown mushroom. I could use a couple of my saplings. I think that does... I think I'll need one more. Dang it. Wow, okay. This is being really stingy. All of a sudden. It's so hard to read sarcasm in text. I understand the pain. Yeah. Okay, please. Yay. Okay. I was a little bit worried for a moment that I wasn't quite gonna have... Oh, you know what? At some point, if I manage to get some bamboo, I should probably, like, have some scaffolding. Like, into the walls a little bit. Just so I can climb up easily, get onto this sort of thing. We'll see. I've been starting to use scaffolding in builds a lot more as of recent. I think it's just because it kind of helps with that. I'm starting to get more into the like warehouse or, you know, construction sort of aesthetic at times. And I don't know, it's just kind of neat. Okay. And wait, I can just do this from here. Oh wait, I already have most of my bowls filled up. Okay, we can do this once with the mushrooms that we have freshly earned. Awesome. That being said, I think I'm going to end the stream off there. I do have some things that I need to do before I go off and to dinner with some of my family. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching, chatting. It was really fun to just kind of chat about some casual stuff, including my social awkwardness. But yeah, thank you for watching and have a good one.